the news sharing. Ayan. So I'm hoping no na they're able to grab no latest news about cyber security. Ayan. But then before that, no before they start sharing news about mga latest information security. Yeah, so let me demonstrate to you. This is only no for educational purposes and cybersecurity awareness. Yan. So who among you have already somehow access yung mga Onion site? Meron na ba dito? Or in short, yung meron na. Ayan, si Justin Joey. Ayan. Yan. So Justin, ano yung mga na-access mo ng site sa yung mga Onion site? Ano yung mga na-access mo na? O hindi pa ba? Actually no, na ano ko pala misinterpret ko yung ano no, na misinterpret ko yung react mo. Nga pala naka-thumbs down, sabihin wala pa, sorry. Ayan. So from the other section, some already explored, no. For curiosity, actually, even me, but then I don't have, any interest to dwell, in dark web. Ayan, in short, pakita ko sa inyo, no. How to access yung dark web. So, but this one is only for educational purposes and cybersecurity awareness, at least, diba? I have idea what it looks like. Well, actually, yung dark web nasa internet pa rin yan, but then hindi lang siya. It's not being indexed by the Google o mga search engine. So you need a special browser to browse the dark web. So may anong browser yung kailangan natin to access yung mga Onion sites na nasa loob ng dark web?
Tor browser.
Ayan, very good, no? Ayan. I guess si Charles. And Charles, may ano ka na? Have you already somehow tried to access yung dark web? Or...
No, sir. Hindi ko pa siya try, pero nakakapanood po ako ng mga ganun.
Oh, yeah. Actually, there are a lot of interesting things, no, in a dark web. Well, some are good, some are harmful. Kaya lang, naririnig ko din siya, kaya lang hindi talaga ako interested, no, mag-dig in, no, doon sa dark web. Well, actually, may mga link din, no. Ipakita ko sa inyo paano i-access yung dark web. Kaya lang, kasi parang pag pinakita ko pa sa inyo ibang link, no, parang ang parang ang dating parang ino-orient ko kayo paano pumunta sa mga site na yun. So siguro hanggang doon lang ako sa part na yun. Kasi mahirap na Baka mamaya, no, because of me, magkaroon ng idea yung iba, no, yung sa mga sites na alam niyo na. Kasi meron talaga doon. You will find some sites that, they are selling drugs, and killer for hired. Yun yung kasi meron doon. So at least, no, educational purposes. Yan, ito yun. So later, no, so after this demonstration, ayan, so proceed tayo sa group assigned for the news. Tapos after nila, ako uli, palit-palitan. So i-demonstrate ko naman how to make use of this vulnerability scanner to scan the website for any vulnerabilities. Ayan. Tapos yung naka-assign naman sa week 13, ayan. Tapos later ako uli, palit-palitan. Ayan. Okay? Tapos still sa CS3C I already gave their grades sa midterm. So sa inyo maybe by tomorrow, okay? Ayan, sorry ha. Medyo na hindi ko agad na ibibigay yung grade. Ang dami kasing ngayon dito, no? Activity sa PLMON. Lalo na yung sa CO, COPC ata yun. Magvi-visit ang CHED by next week. So, aligaga lahat. Store lang. Pero by tomorrow, ayan. So, I'll try my best para maibigay sa inyo yung grade nyo sa midterm. Kasi, yung exam nyo, nasa akin na. Kaya lang, siya, not in the form of soft copy, no? Siya, hard copy. As in, yung Scantron sheet nyo nandito sa akin. Wala pala siyang soft copy. So, isa-isahin ko siya encode. Ayan, okay? So, let me share my screen. Ayan. So, hopefully, by 7:30, matapos natin yung ating discussion for today. Yeah. So, for this week, week ano lang no, yung group that is assigned sa week 13 yung magpe-present. But then by next week, that will be group assigned in week 14 tsaka 15. So by next week, please be ready yung group assigned sa week 14 and week 15. Then, ang ating klase, kasi class by May 12, ano yun, election, so lahat tayo boboto, wala kayo pasok nun. Yung aking Monday class, ang klase namin hanggang May 5 na lang. Kasi yun nga, isasagad ko na ng May 5, yung week 15 tsaka 16 naman nila. Kasi May 12, wala na eh. Kasi May 19, exam nyo yun. So, that's how fast, no? Yung araw. Then, for your, ano man, for your section, para at least kasabay na lang din nila, no? So, meaning to say, by May 7, yung group assigned sa week 16, ayan, so doon magpe-present. Kasi hindi naman kasama sa exam yung week 17. No? Hindi ko siya isinama upon may anticipation kung aabutin yun. Mahirap kasi magsama ng isang topic kung hindi naman hindi naman aabutin kung sakali, magiging bonus lang, ayan. So, sinadya ko talaga hanggang week 16 lang, okay? Ayan. So, ayun, i-share ko lang yung screen ko. So, this is usually, ganito kasi mag-access ng dark web. Ayun lang, no? Highly recommended that if you're going to access yung dark web, no? If you're going to dig in, maybe to find some useful things, no? Or kung ano man, exploration, cybersecurity awareness. So I highly recommend that you will use no yung virtual machine. Just like what I'm using now. So naka virtual machine to. So still I'm using the Kali Linux that I demonstrated to you no last time. So long time no see, di ba no? So ang tagal natin din nagkita, 2 weeks. Ayan, don't worry no, hindi ko kayo na-miss, sabi ko. sabi nila, sir, okay lang, the feeling is mutual. Hindi ko rin kayo na-miss. Ayun. Okay, ayan, so ito no. Make sure lang, actually nowadays ang dali matutunan ng technology. It's because of you, di ba? May YouTube. Tapos may mga di ba? May mga AI chat wherein they can, provided you with a step-by-step instruction, di ba? Basta marunong ka lang sa prompt engineering na tinatawag. Yan, so madali mag-install ng Kali Linux. Yan. Kaya nga, yun nga, sabi ko nga, if ever, no, you have a hard time, of course, installing this one, you are free to visit me here, no, in ICT. So, walang problema doon, okay? Lalo na yung mga gusto talagang mag-explore sa cybersecurity. Yeah, so actually, the first thing that you need to do when you finish installing this Linux, ito yun, no? Ayan, ito yung command that you need to run, si sudo. So actually, dito lang naman yung tinatype sa sa terminal. Ayan. Meron kaming PC dito sa ICT naka-Linux, ayan. Ako nag-insist doon. Sabi ko, hindi, okay lang yan. Para yung mga estudyante, no, makita nila ano itsura ng Linux. Ayan. Kasi sabi ko, pag nakita naman nila yung browser na Firefox or Chrome, alam na nila kagad yung pipindutin nila eh. And so that's why, no, yun. Meron kami ditong PC. Pang frontline namin yun. And it is being run by Linux. So, nag-install ng Linux na yon is an ACT student. So, imagine that, di ba? Arch Linux yung kanyang in-install. Sabi ko nga, Linux Mint. But then, he insisted na, sir, Arch Linux na lang. Kasi mas sanay daw siya doon. Sabi ko, di ikaw na. O, ikaw na maka-Arch. Sabi ko, wow. Sabi ko nga, wow, Linux, no? Ayos marunong ka Yeah, so, yan, ito yung first thing that you need to run, yung sudo. Yan. So, ito yung kumbaga, one-liner yan. One-liner of command. Pwede kasi separate yan. O pwedeng yan ito muna. Ito muna yung iraran mo. Then sabay ito. Or pwede naman sa isang line. Yan na. No? Isang bagsakan na pagka-update. install ka agad ng mga packages, no, na merong update. So ito yung the first thing that you need to run. Then afterwards, ito na, yung Tor browser. So tama yung sinabi ng classmate nyo. So the only browser that you can use to browse, no, to visit mga onion sites is to use yung Tor browser. O, ano ba meaning ng sige nga. O TOR. Okay nyo chat in our chat box. Ayan. Ang bilis naman ni ang bilis ni no, Silvestre. Parang piling ko, like, ay, for sure itatanong to ni Sir. Yan, nilagay niya na send message, no? So yeah, actually meaning yan is the onion router. So yan, no? Kasi ito lang yung magiging gateway mo. Ang router kasi gateway. So yung browser, no? Yung Tor browser, this is your only gateway para makapag-browse no sa dark web. And usually yung ang tawag sa mga sites na nasa dark web is mga onion sites. So pag na-install mo na yan, well, not necessarily no that you need to use the command line para mag-run ng Tor browser. Kahit dito lang, hanapin mo lang yung Tor browser. Kahit i-type mo lang di ba? Ayan, no? Tor browser. Click mo lang. So that's how it's easy no for for a student to navigate yung yung Linux. Kasi ang Linux meron na rin namang desktop katulad nito. So yung desktop nito I believe it's yung pinaka pinaka default hindi siya XFCE. I forgot the name of the name of that desktop. Yung default desktop nitong ni Kali Linux. Yan. So yan, i-click mo lang. So mag-establish siya ng connection. Yan. So just wait for it. So it depends on your the speed of your internet. So malalaman natin, Tor browser routes your traffic over the Tor network. Yeah, run by thousands of volunteers around the world. So hindi naman pag sabing dark web, di ba, parang alam mo yun, makikita mo dyan puro mga tao dito, yung mga mga harmful things yan. Marami naman. Marami diyang mga sites or even community na they're good, no? Sharing good things, no? Kaya lang, ang sa akin, make sure that if you're visiting mga onion sites, dapat naka-anonymous kayo. Never use any account na mag-identify ng iyong identity. Dapat yan, yung anonymity is on the highest level lagi. I'll dismiss and so siya onionize. Ayan, so ayan, encrypted na yung connection natin. So naka-mask yung ating IP. Ayan. Ayan, so actually tayo. The Hidden Wiki. And so makikita nyo dito sa sa ilalim or dito, ayan. Makikita nyo yung kanyang yung extension ng domain .onion. So hindi siya yung .com. So we're already browsing yung content ng dark web, ayan. So lahat ng mga possible things that you can imagine pwedeng i-search dito. So tingnan natin itong the Hidden Wiki, active dark web links. Yun nga, don't just click any link dito na pwede nyo makita. It's very dangerous. Ayan. So meron kayong makikita ng ibang mga dito. Iba't ibang mga mga sites that I will never ever click. Never pa ako nag-click ng mga link dito. Yeah, so may mga store links sila. So this is only for educational purposes. Nakita niyo na, drugs market, di ba? Ano pa? Even yung mga, ayan, actually, meron akong ganito, Proton Mail. Yan. if you're fond of, privacy, I'm using this one, Proton Mail. Meron din akong tutanota.com. Email ano yun, no? Mga email provider yan. It usually recommended to ng mga IT security. They have mga forum, mga social chat, even Facebook, meron silang onion site. Kaya lang, never. Ayan. Again. And many other things. So, actually, i-ano nyo lang, no? I-visit nyo lang yung, kumbaga, pwede kayo mag-search sa DuckDuckGo. Whatever things that, ayan, actually, meron pa dito. Mga others, Hacker Game. Meron pa nga dito yung, yung Deep Web Radio. Teka, I'm looking for a specific site wherein nandun yung mga stolen credit card number. So kasi yun nga sa iba for others, they find it useful. Syempre for scamming, di ba? So yun yung mga na-hack na ng mga ng mga credit cards. Meron pa dito yung bentahan din ng teka. Financial services, mga PayPal accounts for sale. Yan, mga oldest credit card vendor. Ayan, mga credit cards. Automatic system to buy PayPal accounts, so on and so forth. Usually, meron pa, Rent a Hacker. Ano ba? So, ayan, actually, onion site yan. So, nag-click ako ng Rent a Hacker. Ayan, no? So, meron sila mga technical skills, so on and so forth. Ayan. So, ito, safe lang naman tong ganito. Mga Rent a Hacker. So, ayan, technically, no, pagka naka-Linux ka, make sure lang to install yung Tor browser. Ayan. So, yun nga, no, you will find some useful things, hindi naman lahat bad things. Okay lang, yun nga, no, yung iba, dito kasi kumukuha talaga ng mga, example, yung mga na-compromise sa databases, mga accounts online na kanilang na-harvest, even yung collection ng email addresses, di ba? Yan yung mga black market dyan. Okay, so yan yung that's how to access yung onion sites. Okay? So later, after the group shared, yung mga latest news about cybersecurity, yan. So i-demonstrate ko naman sa inyo how to make use of this Kali Linux built-in tool to scan yung vulnerability ng isang website. Okay? So andito na yung group nila nila Arnaiz, Jana. Arnaiz, Jana, Giliana Bella, Gaurana Kathleen, Sarmiento Christine, tsaka Santa Ana Jaira o Jaira. So your group was assigned for today's cybersecurity news sharing. Ayan. So napakadali lang mag-access ng Nung una hindi ko rin hindi ko rin talaga alam. Kaya tinuro lang din sa amin to sa training ko sa cybersecurity nung 2019. Pero ang gamit namin by that time is yung Parrot OS. So ayun, actually yung nag-train sa amin siya. Tawag dito gray hat kasi siya yung confession is that sabi niya, yun nga siya tawag dito they do pen test at the same time. Sometimes, yun yan, nang-hack din sila ng website. Yun. So, sila yung sa amin, na nag-train that time. Okay? Again, ulitin ko lang. Andito na, yung grupo nila, Arnaiz, Jana. Ayan. Are you ready? Ayan. Okay. So if you're ready, you may start no with your presentation.
So good day everyone. Today I will discuss the cybersecurity news article, Philippines partners with allies versus 2025 election cyber threats, released on March 2025. Next slide please. So habang papalapit ang May 2025 midterm elections, mas nagiging seryoso ang usapin ng cybersecurity sa Pilipinas. Hindi lang basta-basta hacking ang issue. There's also the threat of foreign interference, particularly from countries like China, to protect the integrity of the elections. The Philippines is strengthening its cybersecurity systems by collaborating with countries like Canada, United Kingdom, Germany, and Malaysia. The goal of this collaboration is to enhance cyber protection and share strategies and technologies that could prevent online attacks. Recently, nagkaroon ng 2-day cybersecurity conference na inorganize ng Strat-Based Institute at ng Canadian Embassy. It brought together ambassadors and cybersecurity experts to discuss how nations can work together to protect democratic processes. They also emphasize how cooperation between countries is key to fighting disinformation and digital threats. Next slide, please. Ayon naman kay Canadian Ambassador David Hartman, importante raw na makipagtulungan sa mga countries na pareho ng paniniwala sa democracy at cybersecurity. He said that Canada had also experienced foreign interference in their own 2019 and 2025 federal elections. Kaya alam nila kung gaano kahalaga ang pagkakaroon ng early detection at strong cyber response para hindi maapektuhan ang election results. Next slide. Nagbigay rin ng warning si Sammy Curry, isang top Canadian cybersecurity official. Sabi niya, lumalaki na ang role ng artificial intelligence o AI sa election manipulation. Pwede na kasing gamitin ng AI para gumawa ng fake videos, automated bots, at fake news na kayang mag-manipulate ng public opinion. Binanggit din niya na ang China ang isa sa mga pinaka-active pagdating sa cyber espionage, or ang ibig sabihin nito is may malawak silang network na ginagamit para sa digital spying at interference. Kaya sobrang importante raw na maghanda ang mga bansang gaya ng Pilipinas laban sa ganitong uri ng threats. Ayon naman kay Dindo Manit, president ng Strat-Based Institute, ginamit na rin ng ibang bansa ang social media para magpakalat ng propaganda. One example he mentioned was misinformation about the West Philippine Sea. Ito yung posts or fake news na sinasabing pag-aari raw ng China ang West Philippine Sea, or yung mga trolls or fake accounts na nagpapakalat ng idea na walang kwentang paninindigan ng Pilipinas. Sabi niya, kailangan pa natin palakasin ang defenses natin through intelligence sharing, tech transfer, and training. This way, we're not only reacting to threats, but actively building a stronger defense against future attacks. Next slide. So that's why the Philippines needs a united effort from the government, private sector, civil society, and especially the international allies. Everyone needs to work together to protect national sovereignty and democratic values. Kasi ngayon, ang laban ay hindi lang sa kalsada or sa balota, kundi pati na rin sa cyberspace. At sa darating na halalan, I want to remind everyone that politics isn't about who's richer or yung mga sikat. It's about who genuinely serves with compassion and heart. In this election, let's vote wisely. We hold the power to change our government, and they hold the power to shape a better future for all of us. Let's choose leaders who truly care not just for our country, but for us Filipinos as well. And that's all from our cybersecurity news report. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Oh, galing naman. Ang ganda ng ang ganda ng topic nyo. Very timely. Now that yung diba, yung national election is coming, right? By May 12, all of us we're going to cast our votes. And sabi nga ang changes magsisimula yan sa pagboto. I'm hope noon lahat ng nasa CS3B is mga ano na no, mga valid or registered voter na. Wala naman sigurong ano dito, minor de edad. Oh, may 16 years old pa rito Ayan. Huwag mong sinungaling no. Oo, unless no, baka malay mo, meron kayo diyang ano, classmate na talaga namang intellectual gifted, di ba? Ano pa lang, fetus pa lang nag-aaral. Fetus pa lang, no? Grabe, ano na, ang talino na. No, but then, ano yun, ang daming ano, ang daming mga speculation, di ba? Especially nung tawag dito, nung vice presidential election, if you still remember, I don't know if by that time you're already a voter. Yung laban no ni ex-VP Lenny tsaka ni ano ngayon President Bongbong, di ba? Sabi nila no, natulog ka lang pagising mo kinabukasan, di ba? Parang agad yung lamang ni ano no ni Lenny, yung parang dinaya daw. So nagkaroon daw ng tampering, ayun, ng codes or kung ano man. So it could be could be inside job. We're not really sure. Maybe someone intercepted. So hindi natin alam. Ayun. So yun nga, kumbaga the threat of hacking is real. But then I believe naman no, yung kasi ang gumawa nung voting system ng sa COMELEC is from the other country. And mataas yung encryption level nun. And even yung server ay highly secured. So siguro kung kung matatampered lang yung codes, it could be, someone from the inside, tama? Kasi hindi mo basta mahahack yung yung server na yun. Mataas ang security level nun. Ayan. So even yung connection itself is encrypted, yun yung pagmamalaki nila. So far, ewan ko pang ilang election na rin na, automated na yung ating election. Usually, ganun naman ang thinking ng Pilipino pag natalo, dinaya, di ba? Ganun. But then, wala pa naman talagang napatunayan na, nagkaroon talaga ng totally, parang sabihin natin na nahack yung server, or kung ano man, wala namang ganun, no? So kung meron man, ayun, actually, nahuhuli ka agad. Diba? Kasi mataas yung security. Okay, thank you, no? So, thank you sa group nyo, no? Are nice. I really enjoyed, no? Your topic, ang ganda. So, yun, sana ganun na sa susunod na, na magpe-present. So, because of that, no, ayan, bigyan ko ng, perfect score yung group nila, are nice, kasi yun, ang ganda ng, report nila about cybersecurity. I hope, no, that the next group that will be assigning for the cybersecurity news, ayun, sana, yun nga, yung maging topic natin is local. Ayan. Kumbaga, yung, ano ba tawag dito? Yung merong sa atin ba? May epekto sa buhay nating Pilipino. Kasi ibang topic, no, parang yun nga, about, alam yung mga threats sa ibang sa example sa ibang bansa, di ba? Parang yun nasa kanilang bansa yun, di ba? But then we're not naman talaga affected. Kasi dito tayo sa unless example kung may mga bagong security issues sa mga e-wallets, di ba? Ako gumagamit ako ng SeaBank. For example, meron pa lang kung makita kayo ng cybersecurity news about SeaBank, di ba? Hindi pala secured yung SeaBank, ayun. Okay, i-pull out ko kagad yung yung savings ko. Okay, ayan. So, yan, since tapos na ako naman. Ayan. So, tuloy ko lang yung yung sharing ko naman about sa natutunan ko sa training namin nung Yung iba actually, ang dami tinuro sa amin, pati lang nare-recall ko. Wala masyado akong time para mag-recall nung ibang command. Kasi yung iba talaga doon, bago pa ako sumala sa training, alam ko naman parang gusto ko lang ng additional knowledge. Kaya nangyari kasi nung nagkaroon kami ng training, parang ako pa yung naging assistant to nagte-train kasi yung mga kasamahan ko, kabatch ko, hindi marunong mag-Linux. So hindi nila alam yung directory structure ng Linux. Ayun, o ito yung home directory mo. Di ba? Sa Windows, parang ito yung loob ng drive C. Alam naman, alam mo kung nakagamit ka ng MacBook, halos yung kanyang yung structure ng directory, pareho lang. Yung iba gumagamit ng MacBook pero ayaw ng Linux. Pero hindi nila alam, ang pinaka-base nun is Unix, parehas lang din ng Linux. Yung nakakatawa nga Nagkataon lang, di ba, yung MacBook kasi premium, tsaka social, no? Ayun, social status kasi. Social status symbol. Yung mga Apple gadgets. Okay, so ito naman, so yung next thing that I'm going to share is how to make use of this tawag dito, yung tools o tool which is also a built-in kay Kali Linux. And this one, this is widely used by pen tester, nagpe-pen test. Kasi you can use this one, Sinikto. Ayan. You can use this one, Sinikto, sa mga websites, sa mga web apps, no, para makita mo, no, kung meron ba mga, alam niyo na, mga any web services that is vulnerable to cross-site scripting, SQL injection, cross-site request forgery, etc. Ayan. Madali lang siya gamitin. Ito yung mga tinuro sa amin eh. Yung tipong, okay. So talaga, totoo pala na, ano yun, pagka-pentest ka, ayan, hacker ka, well, actually, parang pag gumagamit ka kasi ng mga tools again, script kiddies ang tawag nila eh. But then, that's the reality, no? Unless programmer ka, malawak yung understanding mo how, a software works. Particularly yung networks, di ba? Kaya mo mag-create ng mga scanning tool like Nikto gamit ang C++ or Python. Hindi na ako Python programmer. Sorry, ayun. So, gumagamit lang ako ng mga built-in tool, no? Dito kay Kali Linux. Ayan, script kiddie, so tawag nila doon. So, ito siya, Nikto. Okay lang, ako, no? Ang ginagamit ko, which is I'm familiar, is to make use of this one, yung command line niya. Madali lang naman. Hindi siya complicated, no? So, ayan, ang Nikto, this is a command line vulnerability scanner na pwedeng gamitin para i-check kung may mga outdated server software, no? Doon sa inyong server, ayan. Tapos kung mayroong mga misconfigurations, no, yung isang site, o ano yung mga ayan, yung mga common vulnerabilities, tsaka yun nga, mga known security issues, no, sa mga web apps, lalo na pagka-example, yung pinaka-server administrator hindi regularly nag-update, no, ng kanilang server, ng mga scripts doon. And ano lang, no, disclaimer lang, ang Nikto, ayan, actually dinemo ko to sa nakaraan, no. Ayan, so yung Nikto, ayan. So hindi siya stealthy, no? Hindi siya stealthy tool. So the moment na ginamit mo yung Nikto para i-scan ang isang website for vulnerability, pwedeng matrigger yung kanilang intrusion detection system, yung IDS, o in short, yung kanilang firewall. Kasi nag-generate ng logs ang Nikto doon sa inyong target server. Kaya kung hindi ka alam niyo yun, hindi naka-mask yung IP address, pwede ka matrace eventually. Lalo na kung high-end yung firewall, no? Nung server na tina-target mo, ikawawa ka. Tapos ikaw, ang gamit mo lang, no? Windows 7. No, isang nag-e-explore pa lang, no, sa cybersecurity. Ayan, sabi nga, ano ba yun? Ano ba yung sabi sa no? No one is baga, yung ignorance, no, hindi siya excuse, no, sa ating batas. Ayan. Okay, so ito yung kanyang pinaka basic syntax, no, pagka nag-run kayo ng command na to over a website. Yan. Ang kailangan niyo lang ilagay dito is yung yan yung H na yan, ito yung host. Ayan. Tapos yung website o yung address. So now, kung ang isang website naka-HTTPS, lalagyan mo ng parameter na SSL, katulad niyan. No, pag niran ko yan, ito na yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na when you're do a hacking, Hindi ito yung typical na nakikita nyo online, ano, nagko-code-code lang yun, naka-hood, di ba? Ayun. Ikaw, nasa sa'yo, kung gusto mo mag-hood, no? Hacker wannabe. Ayun. Sabi nila, no? Ano ba yun? Pag may nakita sa'yo, ito ang hacker. Wow, hacker, di ba? Oh, may gumanon sa'yo, no? Ayun. Ano, naka-ano ka kasi, no? Tawag dito? Naka-hood. So anyway, ayan. So pagka niran natin yan, so i-scan niya yung, it will scan, no, the particular target, no, for any vulnerability. And marami pang ano yan, no, marami pang, tawag dito, marami pang parameters yan. But then, katulad yan, nakita niyo, di ba? Nakita, no? So, ang tinarget ko dito. But then, another one, before kayong mag-scan ng any website, make sure meron kayong permission. Katulad yan. So, in-scan ko yung website ng PLMon. So, I'm giving myself, no, permission. Ako naman yung administrator ng website ng PLMon, no? So, binibigyan ko ng permission sa sarili ko. Ayan. Na i-scan yung, yung website, no, for any vulnerability. So, nakalagay dyan, no? Ayan, yung SSL niya, sino yung nag-issue, ayan, tapos, ano pa ba? Ano yung server? O, ang kagandahan lang, hindi ko in-expose. Ano yung version ng Apache na nakalagay? Diba? Ayan, kasi ang target port is 443 kasi naka-SSL. Pero, kung hindi naka-SSL ang isang website, ang target port nito is 80. O, ito yung ano niya, no? Equivalent IP address. Okay? So, meron din siyang tinatawag na evasion techniques. So, wherein, when you use these evasion techniques, it could reduce yung, the possibility that you might get detected. Ayun. Okay, so ito naman yung, ito yung pinaka-basic, di ba, sabi ko sa inyo, napakadali gamitin yan ito. Pero powerful yan. So, matagal yan, actually. Kaya sabi ko sa inyo, no, most of the time, ang mga pen test, nag-aantay lang lagi ng result yan. So, naka-hood, no? Nakaganon, natutulog. Ganun pala yun. Naka-hood kasi ang lamig, no? Malamig sa mall. Malamig sa Starbucks. O baga, nag-aantay lang siya ng resulta ng kanyang ginagawang scan. Ito naman yung evasion, natatawag na evasion techniques. Pagka naman gusto mong somehow ma-reduce yung techniques na ma-reduce, no, yung ma-reduce yung probability, no, na ma-detect ka. So lagyan mo to ng evasion parameter. Yeah. So actually may yung evasion parameter, meron yung value that is 1 to 8. So, it uses different encodings. Pero ang pinaka-common dyan is 1. Ayan. Tapos, same pa yan. Mag-i-scan pa rin yan. Ayan. Tapos, maraming format yan. Sometimes, may mga server o may mga websites, yung isang particular directory, no, may username, no, at saka password, and kung previously meron kang idea or meron kang source ano yung username and password para makita mo yung iba pang vulnerability, yan nilalagay nila dito rin, no, along this parameter. Okay, mga advanced na yun. So make sure lang, no, use legal targets. Ayan. So may mga nado-download naman ng mga exploitable website, lalo yung Metasploit. Ayan. So yung Metasploit, that is a server that is vulnerable na pwedeng yung pagpraktisan. Yeah, so yan, makikita nyo rito yung result. Actually, ano pa yan? Ongoing yan, matagal yan, plus napakatagal. May mga nakalagay dito. Doon daw sa server ng PLMon, merong file name that is robot.txt. Ayan. Tapos yung meron dong folder that is library and is returned in non-forbidden or direct yung codes. Ayan. So, pwede may mga references dito about this mga nakikita yung mga issue. Ayan. So, kumbaga, kung papaano mo pwedeng or ano yung mga known issues, no, for this one, pwedeng mabasa dito sa documentation and knowledge base, KB issues. So and so forth. So sa next meeting, yan, ipapakita ko naman sa inyo, no, paano naman ginagawa yung pag-brute force. Diba? So example, mahirap mag-brute force pag ang isang login merong CAPTCHA katulad sa PLMoon kasi yun pagka alam niyo yun, pag nag-brute force kasi it keeps on sending, it keeps on guessing, no, yung username tsaka password. Kaya lang kung isang cycle pa lang mali na kaagad yung CAPTCHA, wala na yun, putol agad yung request. I-reject at i-reject yun. Yun ang purpose ng CAPTCHA. Kasi nga, may mga gantong script, it could automate yung pagsasend ng request ng mga username, password. So, ayun, ang silbi ng CAPTCHA is to eliminate, no, yung mga ganong klaseng fake requests ang tawag. Kaya napakahalaga ng CAPTCHA sa isang login. Kaya kayo, no, pag nag-design kayo ng mga system, make sure yan, yung mga dapat CAPTCHA o kaya yung mga multi-factor, no, authentication. Napakahalaga nun. Yan, okay? So, yan, no, after this one, ang ipapakita ko naman is yung paggamit naman ng Nmap at saka yung SQL map. But for the meantime, no, let's proceed muna doon sa group nila. Sila ba yung, ngayon, week 13, actually. Yung ngayon, no? Naka-schedule. So, yung week 13 is yung group nila Avila. Tama ba? Joanna Lynn Avila, Nerbiol, Kizana, tsaka Kilaw Gahuman. Ayan. Ready na kayo? Is your group ready?
Yes po, sir.
Ayan, so yan, no? Bring it on, no? Start na. So you may start, no? You may start sharing your screen.
Hey, everyone. This is our presentation for week 13. Today, we will tackle about risk management for security. I am Rona Minerval, together with my team. Most
Medyo choppy. So hindi na, ewan ko lang ha. Putol-putol yung audio. Hindi namin actually on my part ha. Nawawala-wala yung yung audio. Lagi, ayun. Lagi yung yung connection. Baka may kag-group, no? Na I think stronger yung yung internet connection. Kung pwede yung i-share. Ay, recorded ba yung nyo? Presentation?
Yes po, sir.
Recorded. Ilan yung file size niya? Malaki ba?
Nasa YouTube lang po siya.
Sa YouTube.
Wait lang po. Wait lang.
Okay, so yun, no? They provided the link. So let me, siguro ako na lang mag-share ng kanilang, pero ano to? Kayong gumawa nito nung presentation na yan?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, sige. Wait lang ha, i-ano ko lang. I-visit ko lang. Actually, ang topic, no, assigned to them is risk management. So alam naman natin, di ba? Nowadays, usually, ang ating environment is connected to the internet and highly data-driven. So, yung pag-manage ng risk, isa sa mga critical, di ba? Na responsibilities ng kahit anong organization, malaki man yan o maliit, di ba? As long as they're utilizing yung internet, so at risk yung kanilang data. Kasi yung risk na yun, yun yung nagbibigay ng value do sa kanilang information assets. And risk management sa information security, it's all about i-identify mo yung mga potential threats at saka vulnerabilities, even yung understanding yung impact, no? Ano yung impact na yun? Impact ng threats tsaka vulnerabilities na pwedeng yung impact, no, that they could cause, and determining ano yung pinaka best course of action on how are going to mitigate them. So yung group, no, yung group na magpe-present is starting, no, from recognizing ano yung mga potential threats, no, to classify classifying assets, ayan, yung pagdetermine nung value ng assets na yan, depende doon sa risk. Yung kasi yung kasi talaga yung magbibigay ng value, yung risk. The higher the risk, di ba? The higher the value. Example, credit card, di ba? Yung mga credit card info na yan. Pero kung yung mga example, information lang, no, about, ano ba tawag doon? Yung mga nag-visit lang. Example, nag-login ka, ano yung ginawa mo? Siguro, low risk lang yung mga ganong klaseng info, di ba? Yeah, so yan, i-recognize mo yung mga potential adversaries, ayan. Tapos yung pag-assess ng risk, yan. Ano yung mga, kumbaga yung mga yun yung mga fundamental, no, in building a solid security control, no, sa isang organization. So yung mga components na yun, it served, no, as the foundation for creating, no, proactive strategies that not only protect system and data but also, no, it ensures na yung continuity ng business. Okay, so ayan, so as the group, no, present, no, or discuss yung ganong klaseng concept, so always keep in mind na yung effective risk management is not just all about technology, okay? It is all about, or it is also involves, no, yung people, processes, and even yung tinatawag natin na awareness. Yes, teka, saan ba yung link? So, i-share ko lang tong i-share ko lang mismo tong link, no? Teka, mag-stop lang ako ng sharing. Check lang niya, paki-check ha, kung marinig yung audio. Yung audio.
Hey everyone, this is our presentation for week 13. Today, we will tackle about risk management for security. I am Rona Minerville, together with my team. So first, what is risk management for security nga ba? Risk management in information security involves identifying, assessing, and mitigating threats to protect an organization's information assets. It is a continuous process designed to reduce vulnerabilities, prevent data breaches, and ensure business continuity. Sa madaling salita, ang risk management daw ay tungkol sa pag-unawa kung ano ang maaaring mangyaring mali, paghahanda para dito, following the rules and keeping the information safe. Sa ganong paraan, matutulungan mo ang organization mapanatiling ligtas at gumagana ng maayos. Goals of risk management. First, identify and prioritize threats to information system. To find out what could go wrong with your information system, like hackers trying to steal data or software bugs that could cause problems, then figure out which threats are the most serious and need attention first. Minimize the impact of security breaches. If a security issue does happen, tulad na lang ng data breach, the goal is to reduce the damage it causes. This could mean having plans upang mapabilis na matugunan ang problema at protektahan ang mga sensitibong information. Ensure regulatory compliance. Follow the rules and law that apply to your organization regarding data protection and privacy, such as ISO 27001, a standard for information security management, and GDPR, a law that protects personal data in Europe. This helps avoid legal issues and fights. Protect organizational assets. Pangangalaga sa mga mahalagang bagay tulad na lang ng data, yung customer information, financial records, and yung infrastructure, yung servers, networks, mula sa mga banta. This ensures that the organization can operate smoothly and maintain trust with customers and stakeholders. The risk management life cycle. First, risk identification. Recognize potential threats and vulnerabilities. It's the first step in risk management where you look for possible problems that might affect your system, data, people, or business. For example, you ask questions like, could someone hack into our system? What if an employee makes a mistake? What if we lose power or internet? Sa pamamagitan ng maagang pagtukay sa mga risk, maaari mo itong mapagplanuhan at maiwasan nang sa ganun hindi na ito lumala. Risk assessment. Evaluate the likelihood and impact of each risk. Means looking at each possible danger and asking two main questions. How likely is it to happen? Is it rare, possible, or very likely? How bad it be if it did happen? Would it cause a small problem, a serious issue, or a major disaster? For example, if someone hacking into your system is very likely and can cause a lot of damage, that's a high-risk issue. But if it's an unlikely and would only cause a small problem, it's a low-risk issue. This helps decide the risk, which risk to fix first. Third is risk mitigation. Implement measures to reduce or eliminate risk. Taking action to make risk smaller or go away completely. Once you know what the risks are, you do something to stop them from happening or make them less harmful if they do happen. For example, someone might steal a laptop with important company data. So the solution is lock the laptops in security cabinets. Use password and encryptions. Set up remote wipe in case it's stolen. The goal here is to protect your stuff and reduce the chance of or impact of problems. Monitoring and review. Continuously monitor and update risk controls. Kailangan regularly mong chine-check yung safety measurements to make sure that they still working and updating them with when things change. Once you set up your safety measures, you don't just leave them alone. You keep checking regularly to make sure everything is still working and to spot any new or returning risks. If something changes, you adjust your plans to stay protected.
Hi, my name is Joanna Lindsay Aguila, and this is my topic. It's information security. It's important to understand who the attackers are, their motivations, and their methods. This helps organizations build better defenses and create targeted security strategies. Common types of opponent. Hacktivists, politically, socially motivated. For example, defacing website. Cyber criminals for financial gain. For example, ransomware. Insider. Employees seeking revenge or money. For example, sabotage. State-sponsored actors. Government-linked attacks. For example, espionage. Script kiddies. Amateur doing it for fun or fame. For example, a cybercriminal may try to steal credit card data from a financial system.
The roles of special interest groups. Special interest groups play a big part in improving cybersecurity. They bring experts together to share knowledge, create safety standards, and train others to stay protected online. Key functions of SIG. Number 1. Promoting best practices. SIG create helpful security standards that companies can follow. Example, a company uses ISO 27001, a standard promoted by SIG to set up strong security rules for protecting customer data. Number 2. Information sharing. SIG quickly spread warnings about new cyber threats. Example, when a new ransomware appears, SIG members alert others so they can update their systems and avoid being attacked. Number 3. Policy advocacy. They work with governments to improve cybersecurity laws. Example, a SIG suggests new laws to protect small businesses from phishing, and those laws help reduce email scams. Number 4. Training and awareness. They offer classes, certifications, and resources to teach people about cybersecurity. Example, an employee takes a training course from a SIG and learns how to spot a fake email, preventing a potential cyber attacks. Examples of major SIG. ISACA checks if IT systems are secure and follow the rules. Example, a bank uses ISACA audit framework to test its cybersecurity and meet legal standards. OWASP helps developers fix weaknesses in websites and apps. Example, a developer uses OWASP top 10 list to stop SQL injection and XSS attacks on their e-commerce site. ISC provides certification to prove cybersecurity skills. Example, a security pro earns a CISSP certificate to qualify for a high-level job. FIRST connects global teams to respond to their cyber attacks quickly. Example, during a worldwide malware attack, FIRST helps teams share info and stop threat together. SANS Institute trains people in real-world cybersecurity skills. Example, a student joins a SANS course to learn how to investigate hacks using digital forensics. Example, OWASP is like a coach for app developers. If a team is building a new website, OWASP helps them find and fix dangerous flaws like stopping SQL injection, where hackers try to steal data through input forms, or XSS, where attackers insert harmful scripts.
Hello everyone, I am Kenneth. Today I will discuss what is people, procedures, and data asset identification. Gaano nga ba sila ka-importante sa security? Knowing what to protect, and that includes more than just computers. It involves three key parts: the people, the procedures, and data assets. So first, ano nga ba muna ang people, procedures, and data asset identification? Note that the identification of people, procedures, and data assets is crucial for understanding and mitigating risks. People. These are the users. Employees or anyone who interacts with your system. Employees are primary users of information systems. Third parties are external vendors with access to sensitive data, while attackers are threat actors targeting systems. Example, conducting training for staffs not to click on phishing emails or share passwords. So the mitigation strategy are conducting background checks for employees, implement access control policies, provide regular security awareness training. Procedures, these are the rules and steps people follow to get things done. Example, having a process for safely handling customer data or reporting security issues. While data assets is the important information your business uses or stores. Example, customer information, employee records, or financial data. Anything you don't want to lose or leak.
Summary of the key takeaways. Risk management is an ongoing process of identifying, assessing, and mitigating information security threats. Parang security guard ng isang company. Kailangan laging alerto and hinahanap ang mga possible na banta, tinataya kung gaano kalaki ang magiging epekto nila at gumagawa ng mga paraan para maprotektahan ang kumpanya mula dito. Hindi ito one-time job, kundi tuloy-tuloy na proseso. Recognizing the opponent helps anticipate attacks and build effective defenses. Halimbawa, kung alam mong may mga hackers na gumagamit ng phishing emails, pwede mong i-prepare ang mga empleyado para hindi sila maloko. By recognizing the threats early, we can set up stronger defenses and be more ready to prevent attacks before they happen. Special interest groups or SIGs contribute to best practices, collaboration, and threat intelligence sharing. Ang mga SIGs ay groups or communities of experts who share the same interest in information security. In information security, sila yung nagbibigay ng best practices, nagtutulungan sa mga techniques para mapabuti ang security ng lahat. At nagbabahagi rin sila ng threat intelligence. So by being a part of these groups, companies can stay updated on the latest trends, tools, and attacks to stay ahead of hackers. People, procedures, and data asset identification ensure comprehensive protection through access control, policy enforcement, and safeguarding sensitive data. To protect any business, tatlong bagay ang importante. The first one is people, the second one is procedures, and the third one is data. People refer to employees who need proper access to information, so may access control na ginagamit. Procedures are the rules and guidelines we follow to make sure everyone is working safely, like having strong passwords or security training. Data is what we need to protect, like customer information or financial records. Through identification of these data assets, we can protect them better by using the right policies to enforce security measures. It ensures that sensitive data stays safe and only the right people have access to it.
Advanced topics in risk management for security. Effective risk management requires a comprehensive approach to identifying, classifying, and assessing organizational assets and vulnerabilities. It involves automated tools, precise data handling, and structured assessment methods to protect critical information systems. Below are detailed explanation of key concepts in advanced risk management. Number 1. Automated asset inventory tools. Automated asset inventory tools are designed to help organizations track and manage all assets, including hardware, software, and data. These tools provide real-time visibility, enabling the identification of vulnerabilities and security risks. Key features: discovery and tracking. Automatically detect new devices and software introduced into the network. This ensures that no assets are overlooked and helps prevent unauthorized devices or applications from accessing the network. Categorization. Classify assets into various categories such as critical systems, personal devices, servers, and applications. These classifications allows organizations to apply appropriate security measures based on assets' importance and sensitivity. Monitoring. Continuous monitoring of assets ensures that any changes, updates, or potential security risks are identified in real time. Alerts are triggered when there are deviations from expected behavior, helping to prevent incidents before they occur. Reporting. Automated tools generate audit trails and compliance reports that provide an overview of assets management and security status. These reports are useful for audits, regulatory compliance, and tracking security performance. Examples of automated tools: Microsoft SCCM, a widely used tool for managing software and hardware assets, ensuring proper configuration, updates, and security patches. SolarWinds provides network inventory and vulnerability detection, helping to discover and assess the security status of all connected devices. Lansweeper offers asset scanning and compliance reporting, ensuring that assets remain secure and compliant with industry regulations. Benefits: reduce human error, automation ensure accurate, comprehensive tracking, eliminating and possibility of oversight or mistakes in asset management. Speeds up risk assessment. Real-time data enables faster detection of vulnerabilities and quicker response to potential risks. Number 2. Data classification and management. Data classification helps organizations manage and protect information based on its sensitivity and value. Proper data classification ensures that appropriate security measures are applied to safeguard sensitive data. Classification levels. Public. Data that is available to the general public, such as press releases, public reports, or marketing materials. There are minimal security controls around this type of data. Internal. Data that is meant for internal use within the organization, such as employee guidelines or internal memos. Access is typically restricted to employees. Confidential. Data that is restricted to authorized personnel only, such as financial records or customer informations. This data is typically encrypted and protected by access controls. Top secret. Highly sensitive data, such as proprietary research or trade secrets, that is accessible only to a small group of individuals within the organization. This data requires the highest level of security. Data management practices. Access control. Implement access restrictions for each data classification level. Only authorized individuals can access sensitive or confidential data. Data encryption. Encrypt sensitive data to prevent unauthorized access, especially during storage or transmission. Data retention policies. Establish guidelines for how long data is retained and when it should be securely disposed of. This ensures that unnecessary data is not left exposed, reducing the risk of data breach. Example: a university may classify students' records as confidential, ensuring that only authorized staff members can access them. The records are encrypted during storage and transfer to ensure their protection. These advanced topics in risk management are crucial for ensuring that an organization's assets and data are properly managed, classified, and protected. By implementing automated tools and structured data management practices, organizations can significantly reduce their exposure to security threats and vulnerabilities.
Security clearances. Security clearances are special permissions that control who can see or access sensitive information. It's like saying only certain people are allowed to see this. You give each person a level of clearance based on how much sensitive info they need to do their job. Let's say you're working in a company na may hawak na importanteng data. Siyempre, hindi lahat ng empleyado kailangan o dapat makaalam ng lahat ng information, lalo na kung confidential ito. May mga private or classified na details tulad ng customer information, business strategies or plans, o kaya naman financial records. Dito napapasok ang security clearance. Parang ID badge ito na may level. The more sensitive the information is, mas higher level ng ID or access ang kailangan mo para makita ito. Halimbawa, yung regular staff, basic lang ang access nila. Pwede lang sila sa mga general files. Yung manager, may access sa mga employee records. Yung system admin, sila ang pwedeng maka-access sa pinaka-confidential na files gaya ng emergency plans. Mahalaga ang security clearance kasi kapag napunta ang sensitive information sa maling tao, pwede magkaroon ng problema ang kumpanya pati na rin ang mga customers at empleyado nito. Types of security clearances. Iba-iba ang levels ng security clearance depende sa kung gaano ka-sensitive ang information. The first one is public. In security clearances, when we say public, it is open to the general public. Ito yung mga information na safe i-share kahit sa public. Walang confidential na laman at pwedeng gamitin sa promotions or announcement. Example nito is press releases, brochures, or company websites. The second one is internal use. It is restricted to authorized employees within the organization. Hindi ito super confidential pero hindi rin dapat ibinabahagi sa labas ng company. Example nito is company policies, internal emails, or meeting notes. The third one is confidential. It is accessible only to specific personnel who handle sensitive data. Sensitive na ang data dito. Kung mali, pwedeng makaapekto sa negosyo kaya kailangan ng tamang clearance bago ma-access. Example nito is employee files, salary details, and pricing plans. The last one is top secret. It is restricted to individuals with the highest level of clearance, typically for critical and high-risk data. Ito na ang pinaka-secure na info, dapat lang sa mga trained at trusted personnel. Kung ma-expose ito, malaki ang magiging damage. Example nito is disaster recovery plans, critical system access, and national security files. Clearance process. The first process is background check. Validate personal and employment history. Bago bigyan ng clearance, kailangan munang siguraduhin na maayos ang record, walang criminal background, maayos ang past job at trustworthy siya. Minsan pati financial history tinitingnan lalo na kung high-level access. Second one is approval. Grant clearance based on job role and responsibility. Hindi lahat kailangan top secret clearance. Halimbawa, kung IT staff ka, baka kailangan mo ng mas mataas na access kumpara sa ibang departments. Kaya ina-adjust ang level ng clearance based sa role mo. The third one is ongoing review. Regularly reassess clearance eligibility. Hindi pang matagalan ang clearance. Kapag nagbago ang role mo, or umalis ka sa company, or may red flag sa behavior mo, pwedeng bawiin o i-update ang clearance level mo para ito sa seguridad ng buong organization. Example, only system administrators hold top secret clearance to access the disaster recovery plan. Ang disaster recovery plan ay sobrang importanteng dokumento. Kaya system admins lang na may top secret clearance ang pwedeng makakita nito. Bakit? Kasi sila lang ang trained at trusted para i-handle ang ganitong critical info kapag may emergency. Management of classified data. Management of classified data refers to how sensitive information is handled to keep it safe and private. Tumutukoy ito sa kung paano inihahandle ang mga sensitibong impormasyon para mapanatili itong ligtas at privado. Hindi lahat ng impormasyon ay pwedeng basta-basta makita ng lahat. Kaya may sistema para siguraduhin ang importanteng data ay protektado. Classified data is important, private, or secret information that shouldn't be seen by everyone. Classified data ay may mga impormasyong mahalaga, private, or secret na hindi pwedeng makita o malaman ng lahat. Kailangan nito ng proteksyon para hindi magamit o malik sa maling tao. Halimbawa ng classified data ay government secret like national security plans para sa seguridad ng bansa. Business trade secret like product formulas or technology na may competitive advantage. Personal data like your social security number na sobrang importante at sensitibo. Key practices. The first key practices is labeling. Clearly mark data with its classification level. Dapat malinaw na nakalabel ang data kung anong level ng classification nito. Halimbawa, kung confidential or top secret para madaling malaman ng mga tao kung paano dapat ito hawakan. Second one is access control. Limit access to cleared personnel. Limitahan ang access sa mga tao lang na may tamang clearance. Ibig sabihin, hindi lahat ng empleyado ay pwedeng makakita ng classified data. Kailangan may permiso sila or clearance bago nila ma-access ito. The third one is security disposal. Destroy classified data using data sanitation methods. Kung hindi na kailangan ang classified data, dapat itong i-destroy gamit ang mga tamang pamamaraan para hindi na ito ma-retrieve. Halimbawa, file wiping o physical destruction ng mga storage devices. Example, confidential financial records are stored in encrypted databases and accessed only by authorized staff. Ang mga confidential financial records ay nakastore sa encrypted databases at ang mga authorized staff lang ang may access dito. Ibig sabihin, tanging mga empleyado na may tamang clearance lang ang makakita or makakagamit ng data na ito.
Classifying and prioritizing information assets. Organization must classify and prioritize their assets based on value and risk. Information asset classification process. Identify, catalog all data system and devices. Categorize, classify assets by sensitivity and importance. Prioritize, rank assets by their business impact if compromised. Example, a university prioritized the student information system above public websites due to its sensitive data. Information asset valuation. Valuing information assets measure their financial and operational impact on the organization. Valuation methods. 1. Quantitative valuation. This means using numbers and money to figure out how much the data is worth. Example, replacement cost. You ask, if you lost this data, how much would it cost to replace or recreate it? If a company loses customer records, they may need to recollect the data from users, rebuild systems, Hire expert to recover files. Qualitative valuation. This looks at things that are harder to measure with numbers but still very important. Example, reputation or legal impact. You ask, if this data is lost or leaked, what would happen to our image or legal standing? Company might lose customer trust. Reputation damage. They could face lawsuits or fines for linking private information. Sensitive government data leaks could cause national security issues. Example, loss of personal data like names, addresses, and ID numbers could lead to identity theft, legal action, and a potential fine of 2 million in Philippine peso under data privacy laws, plus long-term loss of customer trust. Information asset prioritization. This process helps identify which assets are most important to protect by assessing the risk, impact, and the probability of threat. Criteria include the asset's importance to operations, whether it involves protected data, and the difficulty of recovery. Example, employee database versus public newsletter. Vulnerability identification. This step identifies weaknesses in our organization system, such as outdated software, insecure hardware, or human error like weak passwords. Types of weak points. Software, outdated systems/libraries. Hardware, legacy devices without encryption. Human, weak password social engineering. Example, antivirus can detect outdated software.
Again, so the TVA worksheets stand for the threat, vulnerability, and asset worksheets. It's a tool used in risk management to help you organize and analyze risk by looking at the three key things: threats, vulnerabilities, and assets. So first, threats. What could go wrong? Vulnerabilities, the weaknesses do you have? Assets, what are you trying to protect? For example, customer, yung threat is data hacking, yung vulnerability is yung weak password. The office laptop, magnanakaw, yung threat nun, magnanakaw. Vulnerability niya is no physical locks. Website, DDoS attack, vulnerability niya is no traffic filtering tool. Risk assessment is a way to figure out what could go wrong or how likely is it to happen and how bad it would be if it did. It's like asking what could go wrong and how likely is it to happen, how bad it would be if it did. If you leave your front door unlocked, what could go wrong? Someone might break in, how likely? Maybe medium if you live in a busy area, how bad? You could lose valuable stuff. So based on that, you decide to lock your door. That's a part of managing the risk. Risk assessment help you make smart choices to stay safe. Step and risk assessments. Asset identification. Find out what's important. Look at what you need to protect, like your computers, data, software, or networks. For example, customer information or employee records are valuable assets. Number 2 is threat analysis. Figure out what could go wrong. Think about who or what could cause harm. This includes hackers, accidents, or even mistakes by employees. For example, a hacker might try to steal data or an employee might accidentally delete files. Yun dapat is, kailangan natin maging handa sa mga ganong scenario. Impact evaluation. Ask what would happen if something goes wrong. Look at how bad the damage would be if an asset is lost, stolen, or broken. For example, for that is if a customer data is leaked, you could lose trust, face fines, or damage your reputation. Together, these steps help you understand the risk so you can protect what matters most.
Risk determination means giving each risk a score or a level, like low, medium, or high, so you can decide what to fix first. You measure how bad and how likely each risk is, then you sort them so you know which ones needs the most attention. Example, if a risk is very likely and very harmful, it's a high risk. Fix it fast. You need to fix it fast. If a risk is unlikely and not serious, it's a low risk. Maybe check on it later. Another examples, a hacker is very likely and could cause serious damage. It's high risk. It needs action right away. A power outage is unlikely and would only cause a small delay. It's low risk, so maybe just monitor it and see what could be happen next. Risk levels. High immediate means immediate actions required. Example given is data breach. Example of a high risk, outdated software with no security flaws. Threat or malware or hackers exploiting old software bugs. Vulnerability example is no recent updates or patches installed. Asset at risks are network, user data or applications. High risk means exploits are already known and easy to use by attackers. So, medium means important but not urgent. Example given is weak access control. Example is employees not regularly trained on security. Threat is they might fall for phishing emails or make mistakes. Vulnerability is lack of awareness or up-to-date training. The impact could lead to a breach but not guaranteed. Medium risk, important to address but not immediately dangerous if other protections are in place. Low means minimal impact. Example given is public website downtime. Example of a low risk is employee forgets to lock computer for a few minutes in a secure office. Threat example is someone might access it. Vulnerability is no auto-lock policy, and the impact is low if the office is restricted and trusted. Low risk means still worth improving but not urgent.
Summary of the key takeaways. Automated asset tools provide real-time tracking of organizational assets. Nagpo-provide ito ng real-time tracking sa lahat ng pag-aari o gamit ng isang organization, digital man o physical. Data classification protects information based on sensitivity and importance. Ang data classification ay parang labeling system para sa impormasyon. Inaayos nito kung gaano ito ka-sensitive o ka-importante. Risk assessment identifies, analyze, and mitigates potential threats. Ang risk assessment ay pag-scan o pag-check ng paligid para hanapin kung ano ang mga posibleng problema na pwedeng makaapekto sa security ng company. TVA Worksheet Threat Vulnerability Asset Worksheet maps threat vulnerabilities and assets for better planning. Ang TVA worksheet ay parang guide o tool na tumutulong sa isang organization na makita kung ano ang kailangang protektahan, ano ang mga banta at saan tayo mahina. Risk determination. Prioritize security efforts based on impact and likelihood. Ito yung proseso ng pagsusuri kung aling risk ang uunahin.
Ayan, so thank you to the group for that insightful recorded presentation. So as we've heard and seen, ayan, so yung risk management, hindi lang siya yung tinatawag natin na one-time task, but then it is an continuous process, no, that always evolves, no, alongside with the organization. And of course, yung tinatawag natin na threat, no, landscape, it should be kasi threat is also evolving, no. And so dapat yung risk management itself should adapt, di ba, doon sa threat landscape na tinatawag. And of course, no, from identifying yung mga assets and classifying data to assessing vulnerabilities and valuing a risk. So every step is a crucial role in making informed decisions for protecting yung tinatawag natin na information system. So it is very important that understanding kung sino yung ating mga opponents, paano natin pinaprioritize yung ating assets, and of course yung role ng risk assessments. It will help the organization to build a more resilient and responsive, di ba, security strategy. Yan. So yan, always remember na yung effective risk management is a balance between security, usability, and cost. And of course, ang goal is to reduce yung risk to an acceptable level while maintaining organizational performance. Okay? Siguro ano muna tayo, magkaroon na tayo ng water break, at least 5 minutes. Then after that, I will just be demonstrating siguro kahit yung yung Nmap muna. Tapos yung SQL map will be on next meeting kasi it's already 7:10. Okay, 5 minutes tayo water break. Ayan, so yung mga gustong muna mag-CR, ayan, pwede. So by 7:15, resume tayo ng ating discussion. Okay, let's continue. For next week, news cybersecurity reporter. So I will be assigning the group of Genelaso, no? Genelaso, Joseph, David. So that will be on April 28. Sorry, no? April 30 pala. Ayan. Sorry, it's April 30. Kindly react. Andito ba si ano? Si Genelaso? Kindly react for the confirmation. Ayan. Okay, thank you. Ano pa, sorry, April, it will be on April 30. Okay, yeah, so let's continue, no? At least para makapag-ano na tayo, makapag-dinner na. I know, no? All of us are already, no? Yung ating gutom na sa ibang level na, no? As in starving na. And so ito, last one, no? This is gonna be the last one. And so still continuous yung scanning niya, ganyan class wala naman kasing hacking na ano na on the spot makikita hack agad, no, walang ganun. So ano yan, matagal yan scanning. Okay, so yeah, no. So yung another thing, ayan, that pen tester, no, is being used when it comes in vulnerability scanning is yung powerful tool. This one is a very powerful tool, and this one is Nmap, no, o yung network mapper. Ayan. So ginagamit to for network discovery, ayan, pag-i-scan ng port, and of course, no, yung vulnerability assessment. So ginagamit to in penetration testing, ethical hacking, tsaka network security. So ito yung pinaka-basic form niya. So, ang NIC to, almost, no, identical yung dalawang to. Kaya lang, yun nga, ito is really more about network security. So, dito, mas acceptable sa kanya yung IP address rather than resolving the domain name. Ayan, yun ang kaibahan. So, kay NIC to, usually, mas recommended niya, no, yung domain. Ayan. Example, yung https plmoon.edu.ph, while yung Nmap, so it utilizes na yung ping addresses. Yan. Kasi pwede ka rin dyan mag-set ng multiple IP addresses. So ganito siya, yan. So by default kasi, ang Nmap o yung network mapper is built-in kay Parrot OS tsaka kay Kali Linux. And ito yung pinaka-basic form niya. So NIC to, Nmap, Nmap, tapos yung IP address nung server. Wherein, sabihin natin, no, ito kasi buti na dito naka-display IP address ni PLMoon. And so ito yung IP address. Kaya laking bagay, no, na you understand how, no, computer is being identified in a network, di ba? By its IP address. So lahat ng device that is connected in a network, lahat yan merong IP address. So by just sending a ping, no, on that device, so pwede yung malaman kung alive or not, no, sa network yung isang device, okay? So Nmap, ayan. So you just set yung IP address, then that's it. Ito yung pinaka-basic form niya. Ito yung pinakaunang tinuro sa amin, no, during the training namin sa ethical hacking. Ayun, okay? So yan, Nmap tapos scan. So may kita niyo, di ba? Yan yung ethical hacking. So mag-wait ka talaga. So yan, no? Pagka natapos yung scan sa isang server, so again, no, I'm giving myself ng permission to scan yung PLMoon server. So makikita natin ano yung mga services that is running doon sa PLMoon server. Pwede din naman na meron kang specific target port number, yan, o pwede yan, or range of port number para at least ma-service yung scanning. So ito yung basic form, yan. Nmap, tapos yung IP address or Huwag sana maghang tong aking virtual machine. Ayun, nag-ano siya, no? Ayan, no? So, makikita nyo, no? Of course, yung mga yan is naka-open kasi for ano yun, for incoming tsaka outgoing requests. Kasi kung naka-disabled ang port 80 or port 443, hindi maging accessible ang website TPL Moon. So kung naka-disabled ang SMTP, o syempre walang outgoing mail from the server itself. And yan, kung ano pa mga services. But then, minimal lang. If you notice, wala diyang hindi naka-open ang MySQL at saka yung SQL server. So napaka-stricto ng server ng PLMon kasi ayun nga, in-identify ko talaga isa-isa ano yung mga, ayun nga, yung mga risky i-open. So FTP kaya naka-open yan kasi diyan kami nagka-transfer ng file papunta sa remote server. Okay, so yun yung basic. Or pwede rin naman ganito. Example, gusto mong i-scan, yung specific port number. So, maglalagay ka ng parameter na P. Sabihin natin, i-scan ko yung port number 80 o 443. Ayan. Tapos, syempre, yung IP address. Ayan. So, dito na naka-identify yung port. Yun naman, pagka gusto mo lang maging specific, doon sa port that you would like to scan. Or pwede namang range of port number. Example, gusto mo i-scan yung port 1 hanggang port 1000. Pwede rin yan. Ayan, So, mag-i-scan siya kung if there are any open port between 1 to 1000. So actually, itong mga pinapakita ko sa inyo, tuturo ko sa inyo, available sa YouTube yung mga yan. These are mga common, common Kali Linux tool that is being utilized in penetration testing. So hindi naman na to bago kung tutusin. All this but goodies to mga to. Still, up to now, it is being used, lalo na yung OWASP. Tsaka yung Burp Suite o Suite. Ayan, yung Burp Suite, usually ginagamit yun, for may bayad nga lang kasi yun. As much as I want to share that to you, may bayad, So actually mas gamit yun for pen testing, for website scanning, web server vulnerability scanning. Okay, so if you want to know yung example, yung OS, yung operating system, tsaka yung mga services detection, ito naman. So Nmap, yan. So ang parameter niya naman is yung S, for service, tapos to is yung subversion. Detects service version. So paste. Parang ito yung output nung kanina. Diba? So yan, actually pagka nag-pen test ka, sabay-sabay talaga, hindi po pwedeng lang, isang command line lang. So ano yan? Simultaneous mo ginagawa yan. Kaya kailangan powerful yung powerful yung device na gagamitin. Tapos sabihin natin, so Nmap, ayan, sabihin natin yung operating system naman you want to have, kasi class ganoon naman talaga. Diba? Parang more on reconnaissance, more on parang information gathering. Mahirap naman talaga, di ba? Pumasok sa isang system without even knowing ano yung meron doon, right? So, it's the first step in getting into the system to familiarize yourselves ano yung environment niya, ano yung mga potential weaknesses. Kaya that's why ini-scan mo yung yung mga services that are open. Kasi titingnan mo ano yung malay mo, baka may mga known, di ba? Vulnerabilities yung gamit na software, na server, doon ka ngayon, papasukin ng hacker. Kasi hindi ka nag-update. Kaya napaka-critical na yung mga updates, doon sa server is dapat ina-apply talaga. So, Nmap, tapos ito, yung address, yung IP address ng server. Nmap yan, nagkamali pa ng spelling. Ayan, so, pero ang web server ng PLMon is may firewall. So, hindi yan na basta-basta, no? Pagbibigay ng mga ng mga critical information. So, actually, maraming ano yan, maraming command yan. Meron pa yung tinatawag na stealth scanning. Ayan. Para, ito naman for firewall, no, evasion. So, ito, to get an idea, ano yung operating system ng server, yung O, na parameter, and pagka stealth scanning naman, ito naman siya. So, Nmap, ayan, no? So, yung stealth scanning, ayan, ito yung kanyang parameter. O, tapos yung IP address. Ayan, so ito na may ano yung nilabas niyang info, ayan. So ito yung so checking no ano yung operating system server. Ayan, so nakalagay dito no. Ayan, so warning, OS scan results may be not reliable because we could not find at least one open and one closed port, aggressive OS guesses. Nakalagay dito Microsoft Windows XP Service Factory or Windows 7 or Windows, hindi niya alam. Ayun. So, no exact OS matches na for host. Kasi nga, may firewall kasi yung natin, yung server natin. Highly secured yung ating server. But then, sabi ko nga, there's no such thing as highly secured. If it is, kumbaga, if the hacker really wants to hack the system, nothing is impossible, diba? So usually, naman to, these are mga basic reconnaissance tool ni Kali Linux. Yeah, so by next meeting, yung SQL map naman, so what if ang isang server is vulnerable sa SQL injection, What could the worst that might happen, pagka ganun. And let's test kung gaano kabilis i-guess ang password ng isang PDF na may sabi natin password protected by just using number we will make use of tool that is a password cracker tool built in kay Linux yung John the Ripper at saka yung Medusa. Okay, so matagal na scanning to yan. Yung iba it will take some time, iba madali lang depende. Depende minsan sa security server. Yan. Okay, so yan, any questions so far? So, sakto lang pala yung oras natin, 7:29. So, talagang next meeting na yung natin, SQL map. Ayan, so please, kindly react if you don't have any question. Pa-react ng thumb, o kaya yung heart. Ayan, so buhay pa, Buhay pa pero gutom na. Huwag kayong mag-alala. Nakakalit din sa inyo. Yeah, actually, yan lang naman for today. Actually, di ba, ang dami nating ngayon na na-discuss, Daming nakaka-overload. Kaya siguro, next meeting naman yung iba. I-share ko sa inyo about sa Kali Linux and ethical hacking. Madami kasi yan. Sobrang dami. Yeah, so, tanong, baka may kayo, may gusto kayong i-clarify? So again, by tomorrow, I'll do the best that I can para at least yung grade yung ma-upload ko. Kasi sa CSTC, they already know their grade. Ayan. So dito sa 3B na lang. So, bukas. Yes, Ginelaso.
Sir, sorry to... Yung sa news po ba yung tinawag niyo, sir?
Yes. Cybersecurity news.
Sige, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. And so any more concern that you would like to raise? Yeah, so kung wala na, kung wala naman na, then that will be all muna for today. I hope that you learned something, somehow in our 2 hours lecture, for this evening. So if there are really none, questions, then I'll see you again, next meeting. Ayan. So yung group assigned, please be prepared. Also is cybersecurity news reporter. Okay, so yun na class. Thank you for attending our class today. Ayan, enjoy your dinner. A blessed night to everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat po,
Sir.
sir.